Al Roker has always been seen as more than just the cheerful weatherman of today. For over 4 decades, he has been the steady presence who brought America its forecast with warmth, humor, and an unmistakable smile. He wasn't just predicting rain or sunshine. He was, in many ways, forecasting the mood of a nation every morning. And alongside him, away from the cameras yet always present in his life, is Deborah Roberts, the respected ABC journalist whose career has taken her from small-town America to some of the biggest international stories of our time. Together, they built a marriage that seemed unshakable, a true partnership that merged journalism, family, and love. But what happens when life, unpredictable as the weather, throws storms their way? This is the story of Al Roker and Deborah Roberts, a story of resilience, heartache, survival, and ultimately the kind of love that redefines what it means to stand by one another. To understand why this story resonates so deeply, you have to go back to the 1990s. Al was already a beloved figure on NBC's Today, his easy charm making him a household name. Deborah was carving her path at ABC, becoming known for her fearless reporting and compassionate storytelling. They met at NBC, colleagues in the bustling world of network news. For Deborah, Al wasn't the typical charmer. He was quirky, kind, and refreshingly genuine. For Al, Deborah was a revelation, intelligent, grounded, and carrying an elegance that left him speechless. In 1995, they married, and from that moment on, Al and Deborah weren't just two journalists in love. They became an emblem of what it meant to balance demanding careers with a deep personal devotion to each other. Homes in Manhattan, careers that took them across the world, and a growing family, their children Layla and Nicholas, became the heart of their universe. They looked like the couple who had it all. But as we'll see, appearances often tell only part of the story. For years, viewers saw Al's beaming face on Today, unaware of the personal struggles he carried behind the scenes. His battle with weight was public. But what wasn't as visible was the toll it took on his health and self-esteem. Deborah, meanwhile, was juggling her own pressures, raising children, managing her career, and supporting Al through both triumphs and struggles. Their marriage was not without its tensions. Deborah once admitted that balancing two high-profile media careers sometimes left them feeling like ships passing in the night. Schedules clashed, responsibilities mounted, and the pressure of raising children, especially Nicholas, who has developmental challenges, tested their patience and unity. Yet through it all, they stayed committed. They didn't run from the storms, they faced them together. In 2020, as the world grappled with a pandemic, Al faced a personal battle that shook him and Deborah to their core. For a man who had spent decades on television, embodying vitality and optimism, the diagnosis was a cruel reminder of life's fragility. The surgery that followed was successful, but it left emotional scars that ran deeper than the physical ones. Deborah became his anchor. While the world still saw Al's humor, behind closed doors, Deborah saw the fear, the exhaustion, and the vulnerability. She held him up when he couldn't stand tall, reminded him of his purpose, and never let him forget that he was loved, not just by millions of viewers, but by his family most of all. The crisis changed Al. It made him more reflective, more open about life's fleeting nature. It also deepened his gratitude for Deborah, who once again proved that their marriage was not built on convenience, but on unwavering devotion. Just 2 years later, another storm came. In late 2022, Al was hospitalized for blood clots in his lungs and legs, a condition so severe it kept him away from Today for weeks, even missing the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade for the first time in decades. For viewers, it was shocking. The man who had always been there suddenly wasn't. For Deborah, it was terrifying. She rushed to the hospital, juggling updates to friends, family, and the public while sitting by Al's side. She later admitted she was scared to death. Watching the man she loved fight for his life was a pain she struggled to put into words. But she never faltered. Her presence reminded Al why he had to keep fighting. When Al finally returned to today, his colleagues wept. But the true hero of that chapter wasn't just Al. It was Deborah, the quiet force who carried him through the darkest nights. Through these storms, Al and Deborah's relationship became something more profound. Yes, they are both journalists. Yes, they are both public figures, but at their core, they are simply a husband and wife who love each other fiercely. Deborah has spoken about how difficult it can be to be married to a man as public as Al. She sometimes longed for privacy, for moments away from the spotlight. Al, meanwhile, had to learn to listen more, to give Deborah the space she needed. Their marriage has been honest, filled with joy, but also disagreements, compromises, and the messy realities of life. And yet that honesty is exactly what makes their story so relatable. They are not perfect, they are human, and they show us that even the strongest marriages require work, patience, and forgiveness. What sets Al and Deborah apart isn't that they avoided hardship. It's that they transformed hardship into resilience. When Al's health crises forced him to slow down, Deborah encouraged him to embrace family time. They traveled together. They celebrated milestones. They found joy in the small, everyday rituals, cooking together, watching TV with their kids, and sitting quietly in their garden. They also gave back. Al continued to inspire viewers by sharing his health journey openly, encouraging men to get screened for prostate cancer. Deborah continued her powerful work in journalism, often focusing on stories that highlighted resilience in others. Together, they became more than just a couple. They became a testament to enduring love in a world that often glorifies the temporary. As Al approaches his later years in broadcasting, the question of legacy looms large. For some, legacy is about awards or ratings. But for Al, his true legacy is twofold: the family he built with Deborah and the countless lives he's touched through his openness, humor, and humanity. Deborah, too, has her legacy, not just in journalism, but in the quiet strength she has modeled as a wife, mother, and partner. Together, their story reminds us that the measure of a life well lived isn't found in fame or fortune. It's found in love, resilience, and the courage to face storms together. For Al Roker and Deborah Roberts, the storms have only strengthened their bond. They are not just survivors, they are partners, proof that true love is not about avoiding hardship, but about walking through it, hand in hand. And for the millions who watch them, they are an enduring reminder. In a world of uncertainty, love, real love, remains the most reliable forecast of all. What do you think about Al Roker and Deborah Roberts' story? Does their resilience inspire you the way it has inspired so many others? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more heartfelt stories like this one.